on the air with the Maritime iRacing League for the number 2 of 2 races tonight. Doubleheader going on right now on New Symrna Speedway, and tonight this race is just pretty much a how would you say it, an exhibition at this point, Evan, because in the race before, in just a few minutes ago, we watched Ricky Arbeau get win number 5 on the season, and more importantly, solidify his top spot here in the 2014 Maritime iRacing League Spring Super Series.
Yeah, and it can be argued that he locked that thing up when he started winning all these races, but made it official. It would have taken something drastic for him to come into this race with a chance of not walking away with the championship, but did what he needed to do, Joe. Lap to lap, from start to finish, he led that entire thing, was able to walk away in victory lane for his 5th win on this 2014 spring campaign. Hell, he'll have no problem getting a 6th one here, and that's what he's going to try to do as they hit the qualifying times right now to try to qualify for another 125 lap. You touched on this time, we're going to be at the New Symrna Speedway.
Just under 50 points away from Kevin Walker, Stephen Matthews, Jake Goodwin and company. Arbeau, all he basically has to do tonight is finish. He doesn't even have to finish first, but he's going to try to. He's going to do everything he can do, just because that's the kind of driver he is. As you see some of these drivers now starting to take their qualifying time here at New Symrna Speedway. This race actually got rained out by the not only the Maritime iRacing League, but the iRacing Sim. Earlier in the season, we were going to run New Symrna, I want to say right back in January, right in the heart of January, but the Sim ended up raining out the race, and that caused us to have the doubleheader tonight, 2 125 lap races. Effectively, Evan, this is, you could consider this the 4th unofficial jewel in the Triple Crown. We've had 3 solid 250 lap races in the Maritime iRacing campaign here in 2013, in the winter of 2013, and now in the spring of 2014. Tonight, with 2 races, 125 laps each, this really could be considered the 4th unofficial jewel of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, so to speak, and I'm sure that those guys would have no problem, especially if you're talking to Ricky Arbeau, gonna walk.
As it looks like we've got some technical difficulties there with Evan Pasoko. We'll try to get his microphone back there in just a moment. But as you were saying a moment ago, Ricky Arbeau would love to get that 4th gem on his crown there and try to complete not only the doubleheader sweep there, Evan, but I'm sure he would love to complete getting adding to his hardware he's had all season long.
He's going to have no issue, and he's definitely going to be gunning for that 6th win. And Joe, guess who's on the provisional pole?
The 61 machine of Ricky Arbeau on the pole right now as time running out. Only 2 minutes left in qualifying. Anyone who's left to take a qualifying lap, they're going to have to do it very, very quickly out here. Arbeau right now sitting on the pole almost a whole 10th of a second, actually over a whole 10th of a second over Ron McKay. Jake Goodwin 3rd, Mike Rhino 4th, Stephen Matthews your top 5, Kevin Walker, Sean Pierce, Brad Eddy, Kyle Boudreau, and Travis Roma your top 10. A lot of guys out here just running as hard as they can, but Arbeau continues to be the man to beat. I don't think he wants to just win this championship. He wants to flat out destroy it and carve his name on that championship trophy.
He doesn't want to have to walk away with this championship and have some of the other drivers maybe debating that it's because some of the other guys had bad luck. He's going to come out here and close this thing off tonight. He's already done what he needs to do. He's led every single lap. He took home the checkered flag in the first race. He's looking to do that again. He's going to make sure that there is no question at all that he earned this championship, and he definitely has. Super strong season for the 61 team.
And as I was looking back through the races, he's had such a strong season. He's had such an eloquent season this year, Ricky Arbeau. 5 wins out of 9 races we've run here in the Maritime iRacing League. And if that's not enough, his average finishing position is a podium position. His average finishing position here in the Maritime iRacing League, 3rd place. So no matter where he is, he's almost guaranteed to finish at the top of the peak.
Yeah, and it just really is a testament to the season that he has had, the consistency that he has been able to run, and he's shown it here tonight that he is well deserving of this championship. Again, currently sitting on the provisional pole, as I believe most of the drivers have taken a time. 20 drivers on the qualifying board right now. Arbeau put up a 17.125. That's a 10th quicker than anybody else. Ronnie McKay, 2nd fastest as of now.
Craig Weigel in the 072 machine filling in for George White tonight. He will qualify position number 19. Doug Hubley, the last one to take time, with 21.151 seconds on a botched qualifying lap. He will start position number 20. Also not on the field tonight, the Zigzag Man, Keith Mack. He is sidelined with illness tonight, so he is going to get 25 provisional points for each of these two races, as he is unable to make the show tonight. They're lining him up on pit road. As soon as we get your front row, we can go do tonight's qualifying order at New Smyrna for the second half of the double header here in the Maritime iRacing League. It was Oxford Plains just a few moments ago. Tonight, now it's New Smyrna. Ricky Arbeau on the pole with a qualifying time of 17.125 seconds. On the outside of him, the 03 of Ron McKay.
Take a look at row number 2. It is going to be Jake Goodwin. Had a fast car last race, unable to capitalize. Still looking for his first win. Going to be starting in the third spot. Fourth position belonged to that 34 machine of Mike Rhino. Those guys in the second lane aren't the best of friends tonight.
Not at all. The 98 machine of Stephen Matthews, the CBC racing driver, starts position number 5 tonight. Outside of him, another driver who might have a little bit of bad blood with his roommate, the 35 of Kevin Walker.
John Pierce, the 21 machine, going to be starting in the 7th spot in the inside row number 4. Outside him, Brad Eddy rolls a 72 off the grid, P8.
Kyle Boudreau will start position number 9 in the 65 machine. Outside of him, in the top 10, the 38 of Travis Roma.
Let's take a look at row 6. 29 Scott Negus going to be rolling off position 11 and 12th spot. The 6 of Nathan Doherty alongside him.
Stephen Arsenal got a top 10 in the first half of this doubleheader. He's looking to repeat now, starting in position number 13. On the outside of him, it's the big Sequoia Brewing Company machine of Carter Wilson, starting position number 14th.
Another driver looking to bounce back out to Christopher Garnett, going to be starting position number 15, and 16th could be the 51 machine of Kyle Game, and also looking to rebound after a rough start to the night.
Martin Landry, the 00 machine, will start position number 17. Outside of him, the Cousins Towing and Recovery machine of Todd Cousins, 18th.
Craig Weigel in the 072 machine going to be starting position number 19. And last driver to put up a qualifying time is going to be Doug Hubley in the 33, starting 20th.
Tim, Terry, Luke, Casey, Carson, Alb will all start at the tail end of the field, as the 072 machine of Craig Weigel has some trouble getting off the starting order there. Goes straight nose first into the wall down on pit road, and Craig Weigel might be in a little bit of trouble after that one. We'll have to see if he can bounce back from that rather embarrassing mistake.
Yeah, he went right where the guys in front of him went, and the wheel was just turned dead left, and he wound that thing up, but he did get into the inside wall. I don't think it's really going to damage the race car, but not the best way to show off to the fans here in the early laps here, as we're currently working on our warm-up laps before we do take that green flag.
And Craig Weigel, for that incident, is going to get a end of longest line penalty. And I think he's walking a little bit of thin ice right now. They're telling him that's your only exception. You do something else kind of crazy out there, buddy, and you might end up in the little red wagon at the end of the night. Base car makes a large left turn down pit road, and the 03 of Ron McKay spins the tires to start lap number 1 of 125. He is going to drop through the field, and now the 72 of Brad Eddy gets around on lap number 1 as a result of just another bad restart. Check up through all the field, and the 72 gets punted as a result of it.
Caution flag gonna fly. Trouble on the racetrack. We're hearing Travis Roma may be involved. He has some front end damage, and it is gonna come right on the start. 072 machine has to check up behind the 35, who checked up behind the car in front of him, which is the 34 of Mike Rhino. 72 checks up and just gets plowed by the 38 machine. 72 tries to hang on to it, spins it out, nearly collects the 29 into the inside wall, and everybody scatters into turn number 1, back under our first yellow flag of the evening, very early. Again, New Smyrna, they've turned the lights out, or if you want to say they've turned the lights on, because it is nighttime. We're racing under the lights, and nighttime racing and a short track is always a great combo.
Evan, complete 180 from what we had in the first half of this race. We had a very short track, not even 4/10 of a mile at Oxford Plains. Very flat, very, very fast, very quick racing in the middle of the day. Now we go to New Smyrna, under the lights, bigger track, faster, allowing these cars to really show what they're made of and what that bigger engine can do underneath them. Day and night difference, both literally and figuratively out here, and I think a couple guys are paying for it a little early tonight.
This track does not have a lot of room. Again, Oxford, hell, we didn't have an outside wall there, Joe, or an inside wall. So even when you did get collected at incident, it was almost better because you can slide out there in the grass and get back going. Yeah, you're going to lose a couple more spots, but your race car doesn't immediately get torn up here. Got a concrete wall on your right-hand side and a concrete wall on your left-hand side. And the racetrack has a lot more banking at this place. Again, a New Smyrna Speedway, one of the most iconic short tracks in the world, with banking varying between 18 and 20 degrees out here in Samsula, Florida. A lot more physical race that we're going to see in a lot more close quarters, and that's what we saw there on that restart. These guys were just itching to get going. Unfortunately, some of them got collected in that.
Some of them got collected in that after they made that spin, and that is going to be a tough recall for a bunch of guys out there. They're going to have a lot of problems. Let's look at the back of the number 6 machine, that Nathan Doherty machine. If we can take a look at the back of the Skull Bandit out there, the back end is already caved in. And he's another driver who just got a big boot up the as a result of that restart. So Nathan Doherty not going to be in a good place as we get ready to restart this race. Probably in another lap or so, our Bo will be position number 1 on the restart. Jake Goodwin second, Steve Matthews third, Ron McKay fourth, Sean Beers to top 5.
Lights are off without the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, so we are looking for the green flag down the back straightaway. Rookie Arbo, Jake Goodwin, going to be making up your front row as we pace through now. Turns 3 and 4, it is going to be Arbo as the control car, pace car. Coming down through the corner and off, going to dive down the pit lane. There he goes. Jake Goodwin tries to anticipate, checks up. Ricky Arbo takes off on Jake Goodwin. They remain pretty much side by side in the corner. 03 really sails it in there. Ronnie McKay nearly gets the wall.
Nearly gets to the wall, and that is going to be a hard run for him out there. The 03 now under fire from the 21 machine. That's Sean Pierce as they go side by side for that 4th position. The 03 able to recover, and he's going to get his position back, but not before the 21 can really flex his muscle a little bit out here. Mike Rhino gets all kinds of loose. The 34 machine in position number 6 goes left, goes right, ends up touching the wall on the back stretch there, able to get it back under control, but not before it's going to cost him maybe a little bit of right side damage there.
This racetrack just feels a lot more racy. It's a lot more close quarters. Ricky Arbo at number 1 spot, looking for 6 wins. Different story for that guy sitting in second. Jake Goodwin is tired of finishing runner-up. He almost got up there and challenged for that win last race, but unfortunately got turned after spinning a tire, sitting P3 on a restart. He is looking for his first win this season. However, Ricky Arbo starting to edge away once again in that 61 machine.
Continuing to edge away slowly but surely. Arbo starting to break away from the field as Scott Negus goes down pit road, and that could be his night. Stephen Matthews, the 98 machine, gets a big wiggle in position number 3. Looks like he just lost the handle of it going through turns 1 and 2, able to save it, and he continues going in the right direction. Ron McKay, Sean Pierce, your top 5. Mike Rhino now battling for position. Everybody else single file through this field, and I've got a feeling, guys, that Evan, that these guys are now trying to calm down a little bit, doing a little conservation racing, if you will, and these guys are just trying to take it a little bit easy, knowing that they can't win on lap number 12.
Yeah, they're going to have no issue with just riding around for a little bit, try to knock off some laps. Again, 125 laps here, like we just had at Oxford. Plains over this track is a lot more hard on these drivers. Again, such a tough racetrack to navigate, and they know that, and they're showing it. So that's why, excluding that big pile up there that we got on the initial drop of the green flag, is the fact that they're just trying to give each other a little bit more room, give each other some space, and try to ride this out. And again, these laps take a little bit longer. This track just under half a mile in length, as opposed to Oxford that was just under 4/10 of a mile in length. This track, Arbo, last time by, actually caught the wall in the 61 machine. Now trouble on the racetrack. Yellow flag is going to fly. 29 machine is off pace. That is Scott Negus, not part of the incident. He just left pit road, but we are under the yellow flag.
We are under the yellow flag, and that incident looked like it happened there on the front stretch and involved the 54 machine of Carson Albee, and he just ended up getting turned into pit road. It looks like he wanted to come down pit road, the 54 machine did, but unable to save it. He ends up just going, hitting the brakes hard, misses pit road entirely, hooking it on the apron there, and then goes straight into the safer barrier on pit road. That little lip there where the safer barrier is, goes engine first into it, and that is going to be the end of the 54 machine tonight. Brad Eddy, Scott Negus, Luke Casey, also several laps down as well. Maybe not directly as a result of the incidents, but several laps down nonetheless will hurt you in a short track. The 61 of Ricky Arbeau now pulls it down pit road. Interesting move for Arbeau.
Yeah, Arbeau is coming down for service, and everybody else is going to stay out on the racetrack. Interesting call by your race leader early on in the going. We talked about that incident there, then you just went through it all, what led to that yellow flag, and it was a little bit of miscommunication or a mistake on the part of the 54 machine, and it's not really a fact that he didn't slow down in time. He got down there on the apron, and watching his onboard, doesn't really look like he wanted to get down to pit road. Just got on the apron, spun it out, and actually took out the innocent commitment cone there. Knocked that thing in the air, and then you touched on the safer barrier, which is there to kind of soften the impact. Kind of ruined his night. Because he hit the sharp end of that and instantly blew the engine. He didn't, he knew that engine was gone right away. He didn't take the tow right away. He kind of sat there for a moment, almost in shock, and not the way that he wanted to end his night, but he is back in the pits. His night definitely done. He currently sits P21.
Ricky Arbeau somehow tailing on to the end of the lead lap right now as he comes back down pit road one more time, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly is getting repaired on that 61 machine. Taking a look at it, the front end looks like maybe a little damage, but not terribly enough. It is the front end that looks like Arbeau's trying to get fixed out there as he comes back off pit road again, but it's not too different from a lot of problems that a lot of other drivers have.
Ricky Arbeau, I caught it at the corner, and I think it touched on that he did smack that wall coming at a turn number 2, and he didn't start to drop off time significantly. I think that it was with 125 laps, he can take a gamble like this, and instead of staying out there and try to ride it out and possibly stay out there with the damage done on that machine and evidently cause himself to get into some trouble, what he can do is bake that pit stop now as we are back green flag racing. He is at the tail end of the lead lap, but he has a lot of time to make that up. But how about the 48 of Jake Goodwin now? He's up there in P1 after getting out on the restart after restarting in the number 1 spot. Stephen Matthews in second on his back bumper.
Jake Goodwin crosses the line, 105 laps left to go here in the double feature tonight, and Goodwin still looking for that elusive first win in the season. He had a couple last season, so you know he wants to get at least one before this season's over. Matthews second, Ron McKay third, Sean Pierce fourth, and Kyle Boudreau running the top 5. Everybody else running single file except for around position number 11, Nathan Doherty, the 6 machine. Dewey Battle with 0-5 of Todd Cousins, Tim Terry in that mix, Martin Landry in that mix as well, and Landry's going to go way wide, opens a door for Hollywood. Tim Terry, the Swan might fly again, though I don't know that I put a whole lot of money on it. And then look behind him, don't look now, but Arbeau's back in the mix.
Ricky Arbeau already up to the 14th spot as he tries to knock off some of these drivers, and now a spin in front of him. Yellow flag, gonna fly one car down into the grass. It is the 38 machine, Travis Roma, gonna go around. The yellow flag quickly comes back out after contact with the 02 machine. 02 threw it in and slid up the racetrack, and that is Christopher Garnett. Took out that 38 machine. 38 went around. Nobody else involved. 38 did not get into the fence, so no damage done to the machine. The only thing is he's going to drop back to the end of this lead lap. Not what Travis Roma was looking for, and kind of gets collected at that. Roma entering this evening's events 8th in the championship standings.
So the 38 of Travis Roma, after cutting off the 02 of Chris Garnett, will bring out the caution flag as a result of hard racing. We will stay tuned, race fans. We'll be back with more exciting action here from New Symrna Speedway. It's the second half of the double feature here in the Maritime iRacing League, live on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Double file back here on the field as they get ready to go back to green flag racing in just 1 lap's time. Jake Goodwin, Stephen Matthews, your front row. Ron McKay, Sean Pierce right behind him. Kyle Bordeaux, Mike Rhino, and a whole bunch of other drivers getting ready to go back to green flag racing as Ron McKay gives a shove to Jake Goodwin. I've got a feeling, Evan, that's just a premonition of what this restart's going to be.
Green flag is out. Jake Goodwin on the loud pedal coming around to take lap number 29.98 machine. Stephen Matthews settling for the second spot. They single file up all the way inside of the top 6. Now quick yellow flag going to fly once again. Problems on the racetrack. 2 cars, 072 and the 00 are going to collect each other there in turns number 1 and 2. And actually 072, an innocent victim, and actually gets collected in what happens up in front of him, which is the fact that the 00 machine, for another, I believe the second or third time this evening, finds himself facing the wrong direction after just a self spin on the outside lane.
On that restart, looks like the 00 Martin Landry got a little aggressive out there, overdrove it, trying to get around the 6 machine. That 6 machine belonged to Nathan Doherty, and unfortunately just sends it into the spin cycle, driving it way too hard on the high side of turns 1 and 2 here in New Smyrna. Try to get up there, but then look at the 61 and the 38. Both those drivers find a way to hit the brakes, get around the 00 with as little damage as humanly possible. No contact between the 61 and the 38, miraculously for both of those drivers, with a 072 of Craig Weigel, who already started this second leg of the doubleheader with a little bit of tough luck. That is going to definitely, his bad night continues, for lack of a better term. I just don't have another term, Evan, I'm sorry.
We'll think, and maybe we'll work past this, Joe, and build upon this in our relationship, and maybe one day we can forgive you.
I hope so, because, you're kind of important to the Maritime iRacing League, Evan.
I'd like to think so. I tell myself that to make me feel better, but...
Another guy who's important to the Maritime iRacing League is driving the Swan tonight. Tim Terry in right now position number 11. Let's see if we can grab him in the in-car radio real quick. Tim, it's your friends in the booth. Can you hear us?
Yeah, Joe, what's up?
How's the Swan doing tonight? We see it seems to be found a new life here at New Smyrna.
There's a lot of guys that are, I guess, complaining about the lack of practice, but with the rainout that we had earlier in the season in the new build, it is what it is. But I'm happy with it. I took a setup that I had earlier in the season from the first week of official, made some track bar adjustments to it, and it actually doesn't handle too bad, but I don't know what it's going to do when it has some laps in here. I did need cautions, though, because I was a little short on fuel. Didn't put it full where I wanted to on fuel. So I should be fine with these cautions. Don't know where I'm going to finish, but we'll see how it goes. I'm happy with it for now, but then again, we've gone about 20 laps of caution.
20 laps of caution, and I'm sure you guys, you're not praying for any more because you can't pass under yellow. What's it going to take to get the Swan up front?
A couple of guys direct, a little bit of luck. I'd be happy with the top 12. I'm racing the 33 and the 072 to stay top 13 in points. So we're getting ready to go back to green. I want to thank the sponsors, Swan Racing, Me and Racing, Shotgun Racing, and I'm sure I'll thank the others after on the post-race show.
Tim Terry, free starting position number 11, trying to hold on to his goal of a top 12 finish here tonight at New Smyrna Speedway. Jake Goodwin still looking for win number 1, drops the hammer, and we're back at green flag racing, scoring lap number 35. Time running out here on the field, 91 laps left to go. Jake Goodwin trying to pick up his first win, but Steve Matthews still fighting him on the high side, and there's a rarity. Steve Matthews might get the pass high.
He's going to clear him now into turn 1. It is Stephen Matthews to the point, and he got it there with that great restart. Started side by side with Goodwin, was able to capitalize when they got it through the gears. Actually had Goodwin by the stripe and was able to make the pass, and outside lane is going to work, and shortly soon after, yellow flag going to fly. 52's in it, the 65 spin around on the inside of the racetrack as well. Yellow back out after Tim Terry's Swan machine makes contact after the 65 gets turned by the 27. 34 gets around it. 02's in it. 05 is in it. Tim Terry gets spun around. 06 is dodging it. The 51 gets a piece. A big mess down the back straightaway, to say the least, man.
It really all starts around that 65 of Kyle Bordeaux, who was running all the way up in position number 5 at that point. Carter Wilson was up in that mix, as well as Mike Rhino. The 65 and the 27 of Wilson just make contact, spinning it out, and that just starts a big chain reaction, giant checkup through the field that the 65 can't get out of. You see something in the suspension brake after that contact was made. The 75 trying to do whatever he can to get out of it. Tim Terry gets a piece of it, and now we're hearing on his radio that they've got at least 30 seconds of damage, and it's broken on that left side, just as well as the 65 machine suspension is broken. Kyle Bordeaux, the red solo cup, may not get filled up tonight.
Yeah, Brad Eddy also saying over the radio that he has about 4.5 minutes of optional repairs, and that meaning that the sim does not require you to fix it. You don't have a black flag, but if he wants, he can stay in the pit lane for an additional 4 minutes to get that car fixed up as much as possible. So a lot of drivers banked up as the wave around goes on by. That is the 72 machine of Brad Eddy going to get his ticket back to the lead lap. He will make it 19 cars that will be on the lead lap this time by, as we are currently working under the yellow flag this time by. We'll be taking lap number 40. Stephen Matthews got it on the outside that last time by, something that we haven't seen all night long. This track, it's definitely more of a possibility because of the higher banking than at a place like Oxford Plains Speedway like we raced just prior to this. Question will be, can Jake Goodwin do the same thing? Because we know how hungry that 48 machine is for that win.
Here's what I'm hearing from a lot of these crews. Here's what I'm hearing on the track is that a lot of these guys are a little saying they're a little dicey. Their cars are a little dicey because they didn't get a full practice run. They had to literally run from Oxford Plains, get in the car they had set up here at New Smyrna, and a lot of guys saying, hey, if we had a little bit more time to practice, to really tune these cars in, to dial them into the track, I think we'd be running a little bit easier tonight. We see them go, though, without any practice and shake off the rust at the beginning of the season there, Evan. So I'm wondering if just it's a little bit of nerves tonight, that the doubleheader is getting in a couple guys' heads.
Yeah, you never know, and again, we talked to Tim Terry, you got over the radio, and again, this race being rained out due to some technical difficulties in the iRacing service when it was originally scheduled, so that's why we are making it up this evening with this doubleheader to kind of close out the season. Green flag in the air. Stephen Matthews gets some help for the 03 of Roddy McKay. Jake Goodwin is going to have to settle for the second spot. Does he pull on line? Yes, he does. Top 3, single file out, now down to back straightaway, side by side for 4. Sean Pierce in a 21 machine trying to do work on the outside of Carter Wilson. Wilson gets into him again, spins the 21 of Sean Pierce. He goes around, nobody else gets into him, and Sean Pierce just going to say that he is doing so good coming in here from the Sportsman race and gets turned around for the second time in a row. It is a 27 that sends a car around.
Just a tough break, hard racing for that driver, and to bring out the caution flag literally not even a full lap after the last one was cleared. Yeah, the 21 machine was Sean Pierce. He was running very, very strong tonight, running in that peak machine, and just made contact once again with a 27 machine. The 27 hitting everything, or at least bouncing off everything here on the track. The 27 that spins the 21 around, puts him in the spin cycle, and now the 21 is going to have to come down pit road and try to get a little bit of optional repair done on that machine. We know that cautions breed cautions, but tonight we're getting a little bit of different taste of that. Someone must have been doing I bet that Tim Terry's crew is doing a little bit of a rain dance to try to make sure that they could get that car gassed up as much as they could under the caution flag. Steve Matthews, Jake Goodwin, your top 2. When we return, we'll be back here with more racing action from New Symrna Speedway here on ETV Motorsports Entertainment.
Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Doubling up one more time here at New Symrna. Steve Matthews, Jake Goodwin, the front row, getting ready to do business one more time. We are currently scoring lap 47. We're not even halfway through, Evan, and so far these Maritime iRacing League drivers leaving it all on the track here at New Smyrna.
And they're leaving a lot of sheet metal on the track too. Green flag flies Steven Matthews to the point. What can 48 Goodwin do? Can he stay on the outside lane? Is going to try to get there off two. Can't get the run. Is going to have to settle for the second spot, but a valiant effort by Goodwin's machine to try to get out to the outside, which is how Steven Matthews actually passed him for the number one spot. 03 Ronnie McKay, again, last season's champion, not having the season that he's been looking for. They're up there on front. Leader gets spun. Steven Matthews from the number one spot gets turned after contact with Jake Goodwin and Ronnie McKay, and we're back under yellow.
And big trouble at the front of the field. The 03, the 48, the 98. Chain reaction as it looks like the 03 of Ron McKay just shoves the 98 machine, or the 48 machine, into the 98, and that not only causes that chain reaction up front with your leaders, but also spawns a secondary incident. A secondary incident involving the 00 of Martin Landry, the 05 of Todd Cousins, and the sportsman driver, the 51 of Kyle Gammon, all getting involved in that secondary incident as a result of that spin up front.
And I mean, we've seen our share of spins, but I mean, the leader getting taken out after contact with the car second and third. Man, that's wild. And no, don't forget, your current race leader, Jake Goodwin, has a little bit of history with the guy that's moving on up through the field in that 4 spot too, Mike Rhino.
Yes, he does. That goes not only back to the last race we had earlier tonight, but it goes all season long. And those two drivers, there's not a whole lot of kind words to say by each of those drivers about the other. Ron McKay, another guy who's had a little bit of a salty run here in the Maritime iRacing League. Remember, last season he won the 2013 Winter Super Series Championship. Tonight, running for Pride, running to get a good run here in the 2014 points standings. Ron McKay, he's had a rough night tonight. He's had a rough night in the series. He's got a rough night in the last race at Oxford Plains, and now he's just driving as hard as he can, driving as aggressive as he can in that 03 machine.
Welcome to Hulu Plus.
Yeah, this is really going to change the next half of this race. Again, not at the halfway point quite yet. Currently working under the yellow flag, still at 52 of 125. And Joe, we know that when we make a transition from a place like Oxford to a place like New Smyrna, you're going to see your yellow flags because, again, this track, so tough on these drivers. You have to drive it very aggressively to be competitive, and this is what happens. Jake Goodwin obviously not doing that intentionally. He wanted to throw it in there. Maybe he wanted to give that 98 maybe a little bit of a bump, let him know that he's there, but evidently getting that extra shot from Ronnie McKay sent him off into him, which did end up causing the spin that did bring out the yellow flag. So Jake Goodwin, tough break for him. I know that that's not what he wanted to see, but he is back at the number one spot.
And another driver having a problem out there is the Ford Fusion of Tim Terry. Heavy front end damage for the Swan there, and Tim's telling his crew, if we have to, we're going to cook the Swan tonight, because this thing might not last a whole lot longer. Jake Goodwin, Ron McKay, the front row, Carter Wilson, Mike Rhino behind him, Chris Garnett, Nathan Doherty, Ricky Arbeau now back up to position number 7 as we get ready to go green flag racing. Jake Goodwin will restart at the front of the field, and as soon as the pace car drops down pit road, it will be all his. Jake Goodwin getting ready to drop the hammer. He does so, and we are back to racing, scoring lap number 55, inching our way to the halfway point. Goodwin, McKay, Wilson, Rhino, Chris Garnett, your top 5, as they almost go 3 wide now around the 6th machine of Nathan Doherty for position number 8. Brad Eddy in that mix, Nathan Doherty in that mix, and the Swan of Tim Terry still flying.
Yeah, that 6th machine of Nathan Doherty's on the outside lane. Kirby scored in the 7th spot. Actually going to drop back to 10th when the scoring updates. He's up there. This 98 make it 3 wide. That is Matthews, who got spun from the lead. We know he has a fast car. He's going to try to work his way through the field. He's going to throw it now to the inside of Nathan Doherty. 2 tires on the apron. We're going to make the pass for 9.
And I got a feeling the guy who's got the most to lose here is a 48 of Jake Goodwin. As you see him now, the 3 machine gets sideways behind him. He will lose second place. It looks like he's going to lose third place as well. Rhino gets past the 0-3 of Ron McKay. Now here comes Ricky Arbeau. He's going to try to get around the 0-3 as well. The 98 machine, though, he is not going to give up. Stephen Matthews had a taste of the lead, and now he is just checking him off over and over again. Matthews now position number 9, but he is nowhere near being done.
Yeah, he sits 9th right now, trying to close in on Brad Eddy. He's really thrown it into the corners. Got a lot stronger of a race car than the guys that he's racing with, given that they are in the top 10. But he had the leading car before he got spun, so that's why he's able to drive it in so hard. Has such a good car on corner entry. Now we can look to the inside of the 72 of Brad Eddy. Stephen Matthews up to position number 8.
Top 2 starting to break away from the rest of the field. Jake Goodwin, Carter Wilson making some moves. Ricky Arbeau now position number 3. Ron McKay will not be denied. Put him now in position number 4. Rhino drops to position number 5. And here comes the 98 still. Past the 0-2 of Chris Garnett with ease. Brad Eddy trying to tag along with the CBC racing driver of Steve Matthews. Matthews goes out of position number 7. That car looks like a sled on rails, and it is not giving up anytime soon.
And definitely Jake Goodwin up in the front of the field has company 27. Carter Wilson in that all black machine trying to close in on him. He's got to run. Does he look to the inside? He does. We're going to go side by side for the number 1 spot. Carter Wilson slides up, gets into Jake Goodwin, spins him for the race lead. They both slow down. Yellow flag is out. Carter Wilson going to assume the number 1 spot.
Two incidents happening on that caution flag. First, you saw it right there. You saw up front, live here on ETV Motorsports Entertainment, your lead cars, the 48 of Jake Goodwin, the 27 machine, Carter Wilson. They went and did battle trying to make the lead. The 27 for the 3rd time gets into another car. That's going to be the 48 this time. Both those drivers nearly spin out. The 48 gets the worst of it, and that is going to be the end of his night. Meanwhile, Mac, about a half lap ago, we also had a car blowing up here on the track. It was the 52 machine of Steven Arsenault that ended up blowing up just as a result of front end damage and that engine overheating, and they cooked it, and that was done right about the same time that the caution flag came out for the incident up front. So no matter where you look at this track, something crazy is happening. It might be in the water, it might be the double-headed monster. Nonetheless, crazy things are happening here in New Smyrna, and even crazier, Ricky Arbeau back to the lead.
Yeah, definitely. Carter Wilson not going to assume the lead. He's actually going to go to 2nd. Ricky Arbeau was able to get around it before the yellow flag did fly, as the cause of the caution is going to go to Jake Goodwin. So, Joe, we got a lot of upset drivers, to say the least. Jake Goodwin, he's got a wicked fast machine. He's sitting 9th. He got wrecked out of the lead. Stephen Matthews has had a wicked fast machine as well. He's sitting 6th. He's been knocked out of the lead. Ricky Arbeau, who led up at the beginning portions of this race, trying to make it back-to-back and take home both trophies this evening, up in the number 1 spot. You got Carter Wilson, Ronnie McKay. Carter Wilson's evidently turned 3 cars so far this evening. He sits 2nd right now. And how about Ronnie McKay again, trying to close off the season on a positive note? Did not have the run that he's been looking for. This thing's going to get wild coming out of this checkered flag, and we still have just about half of this race to go.
Ricky Arbeau in front of the field. Carter Wilson 2nd. Ron McKay 3rd. Mike Rhino 4th. Kevin Walker, your top 5. And these guys, they are leaving absolutely nothing on the track. I think something just snapped for these guys. I know some of them are saying that if they had the practice run to get everything tied up, it would be a different outcome. But Ricky Arbeau, but as I look at these guys out there, I feel like since Ricky Arbeau won the last race at Oxford Plains earlier tonight, all these guys knowing they have nothing to lose. Just go out there, have fun, throw the dice, see what happens, and see if they just can't figure out something magical tonight at New Smyrna. Ricky Arbeau, back on the point though, he might ruin all those dreams.
Yeah, these guys aren't afraid to express their displeasure over the radio if they get dumped. And we haven't really heard a lot of that this evening, so it kind of gives an atmosphere that they're just going to go for it. Lights off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car down to save the pit lane. Ricky Arbeau is gone. Green flag back out to take lap number 68. 27 Wilson is able to hang side by side with him. Can he get the top lane to work coming out of 2?
We saw the 98 do it earlier, do it successfully. The 98's going to do it again. So will the 27. Nope. Here comes the 61 of Ricky Arbeau. He's got the hammer down on the low side. He is driving as fast as he can. And at the line, Carter Wilson able to take credit for leading the lap. Now the 34 of Mike Rhino loses it through the turns 3, 1, and 2. He gets way sideways into the wall. No caution flag out. But Rhino has dropped through the field.
Yeah, what a wiggle by Rhino. Just got sideways, slid right up the hill. He is going to drop back now. Outside of the top 5 currently sits a 27 Wilson. Was that able to get it out on the high side like Steven Matthews did to Jake Goodwin to get up to the number 1 spot? For Wilson still hanging in a steady second place, just about a tenth or so off of the back bumper of Carter Wilson. Carter Wilson is in that second spot, trying to get up to Ricky Arbeau. However, Arbeau stretches it now to 3/10.
Arbeau stretches it now to 3/10, and Arbeau could have a second renaissance, looking for win number 6 now, his 3rd consecutive win here in the Maritime iRacing League, as he won the earlier race tonight. The All Black Machine, Carter Wilson 2nd. Ron McKay now under fire from Kevin Walker for position number 3. The 03 Machine trying to find all the 35 Machine on the backstretch, able to do so rather successfully with a 35 strong through the turns, able to whip that car around. Now the 72 Machine, that's Brad Eddy. He gets out of line. He starts wiggling, and the 72 Machine could be in trouble. Here comes the 48 of Jake Goodwin. He got spun earlier, and now he's looking for position. He's going to take away position number 6 from Brad Eddy.
Yeah, Jake Goodwin able to get that spot and gets right up to the wall now. Caution flag going to fly. We're hearing the 29 possibly with some trouble. Or no, he is on the pit lane, but one car is going to go around. Yellow flag is going to come out and back under yellow.
21 of Sean Pierce ended up getting a piece of it. The 51 Machine of Kyle Gammon. Not sure exactly how those 2 drivers came around. We're going to show you the replay and let you be the judge of it. The 21 looks like he was arcing it into the turn, trying to get that fast turn. The 51 through the nose in. He had the preferred lane, it looks like. And it's either the 21 spotter didn't tell him the 51 was there, or the 51 didn't care that the 21 was coming down on him, because the 51 knew that he could stay stable enough to keep that car going the right way. In any event, the 21 gets into the wall. The 34 almost makes contact with the 21, and then the 05 of Todd Cousins involved in there, able to make the save before it gets to be a bigger problem. Let's go ahead and step away from the microphone real quick and take a break as these guys sort it out one more time here under caution. You are watching the Maritime iRacing League on ETV Motorsports Entertainment.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here to weep and moan.
Ricky Arbeau still in control here at the Maritime iRacing League race at New Smyrna on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Carter Wilson second, Kevin Walker third, Steven Matthews, Brad Eddy, Jake Goodwin right behind him, Nathan Doherty, Doug Hubhley, Tim Terry, and Sean Pierce, your top 10. Still plenty of talent in this field, and Evan, what's more entertaining is a lot of these guys now are getting matching damage.
And that's really going to drive these guys to go on that ragged edge, because the cars are going to be 100%. Don't be surprised if you see these guys kicking it out sideways. 61 of Arbo right up on that pace car. Pace car down to the safety to pit road. Ricky Arbo takes off, sets sail for the number 1 spot. He's able to hang on. 27 Carter Wilson is going to try to challenge in the corner. Gets a great drive through one. Can he get it off a turn 2? Gets up to the wall, door to door, down the back straightaway. Wilson might have something for him.
Wilson might have something for him, and if he doesn't, the 98 of Stephen Matthews will. First, second, third, the 61 of Arbo able to get in front of the 27 machine of Carter Wilson. Stephen Matthews now in third, and they just run single file. But Carter Wilson's been strong all night, so is Stephen Matthews. It's only a matter of time before these guys bide their time and make their move. The 98 looks like he wants to start getting his move set up right now.
98 wants to get going. Stephen Matthews has been up at the point of this field right now, and as they're getting spun, is trying to work his way back up, went all the way back to 15th, currently sits third, has to get around Wilson before he wants to try to get up on Ricky Arbo. Ricky Arbo really dominant, led every single lap at a previous race to this at the Oxford Plains Speedway, trying to go back-to-back, walk away and increase his win count to 6. Exiting this evening, if he can do so successfully and close down to really lock up that championship, make a statement, as he has already clinched the championship. Top 3 separated a big group of cars, big haggle of them around 5th. 35 of Kevin Walker, who's currently sitting in 6th position, tried to get 5th from Stephen Matthews, had a big wiggle and was unable to do so. Hangs on for now.
Jake Goodwin still holding on to position number 5 for the time being, but that might change as Nathan Doherty, Kevin Walker, Sean Pierce all lining up behind that 48 machine. And Goodwin, he's the only thing he wants to do. He wants to try to get back up front. He wants to try to lead some laps, as now the 35 gets around the 6. The 21 trying to do the same thing, get around the 6, and Nathan Doherty score Kevin Walker now position number 6, and Nathan Doherty might drop another position to the 21 of Sean Pierce. No, he will not. Pierce forced to back it off. The 6 machine, the school machine of Nathan Doherty, the Bandit, steals position number 7.
He's able to sneak in to get that spot. We talked about Sean Pierce coming up from the Sportsman division. Sean Pierce sitting second in the Sportsman points going into their final race, which will take place next week. He was in the lead, got taken out of that spot, and that's not been an uncommon sight to see so far this evening. And again, currently working right now, Ricky Arbo, your race leader, came by to take lap number 88 of 125, so definitely past the halfway point and down the downhill side of things. We are under the yellow flag. Pace car has come out down the back straightaway to pick up our lead lap cars. There's only 13 drivers do remain on the lead lap.
It was the 05 machine of Todd Cousins that ended up bringing out the yellow flag. Going into turns 1 and 2, not sure if he locked up the brakes trying to go in or if he just hand grenaded out there. In any event, he went straight into the wall. His tail end touched the sign there where it says 1 in the turn, and then the car just kept going right in front of some lead lap traffic, in front of your leaders, in fact. The 27, in fact, had to get into the wall of Carter Wilson. He had to get into the wall to avoid making contact with the 05 of Todd Cousins. So that's going to bring out the caution flag one more time, Evan.
Yeah, no, he caught the wall there coming down the front stretch, and once he turned it in the corner, because the car was upset from that, it got sideways, and we see this too often, not normally at short tracks, but you go to overcorrect the thing, and it just catches grip, and that thing went straight into the outside wall, and if you really don't get that onboard perspective, it really looks strange, but he plowed that thing down there into the corner, ended up stopped right in the middle of the racetrack, came up and nearly caught a couple guys. You mentioned some of our lead lap cars, so close call for some of those guys. Back under the yellow flag now, and this next time by the start finish line under the yellow flag, Ricky Arbo is going to take 35 laps to go.
A lot of cars effectively out of contention now. Mike Rhino, Don Cousins, Steven Arsenal, Travis Roma, Martin Landry, Kyle Bordeaux, Carson Alb, Scott Negus, Luke Casey, all effectively out of commission tonight as they are multiple laps down. 14 cars remain here on the lead lap, and it might be 13 as we're hearing Dims Terry's 75 machine just having more and more problems as the night goes on.
There's a lot of drivers that have just not had things going their way to this point. Ricky Arbo, he's had things pretty much going all his way. We've seen 3 leaders so far this race, Joe, that have been dumped out of the lead position. Arbeau was up there at the beginning of this race. He fell back a little bit. He's been able to find himself back up there again. I think one thing about this racetrack that'll make this a little bit more exciting than Oxford is the fact that the outside lane can work. We've seen it down with the 98 of Stephen Matthews. Wilson made a shot at it the last time, was unable to capitalize. We'll see if he has anything for Arbeau this time.
Lights are off on top. The first racing Ford Mustang base car, Arbeau, Wilson, your front row. Steve Matthews, Brad Eddy, row number 2. Jake Goodwin, Kevin Walker, row number 3. Nathan Doherty, Ron McKay, row number 4. Chris Garnett, Doug Hubhley, your top 10. Only 14 cars remain in contention. The remaining cars, Kyle Gammon, Tim Terry, Craig Weigel, Sean Pierce. Those are the last guys that will continue to run under the lead lap. Pace car out of the way, and Arbeau once again gets on the loud pedal. We're back to green flag racing as the 27 immediately challenging. Carter Wilson wants the lead, can't take it. Here comes the 98 of Stephen Matthews. Matthews looks high, looks low, looks high again, and now he's going to be happy to cruise in right behind the 61. The 98 knows he can pass Arbeau. He makes contact with the outside wall as now the 072 goes around.
Craig Weigel in the outside wall. The 03 machine of Ronnie McKay is involved as well, trying to end the season, was doing so well, and he just arced it down, and there was another car there, and they both went heavy contact into the outside wall, and their night's going to end short. Tough break.
Hard break for Ron McKay and the 072 of Craig Weigel. That will be the end of Weigel's night, at least, and Ron McKay is going to need a little bit of help to get back out there. Less than 35 laps to go at this point, and anybody's race up front. Who's going to take home the checkered flag? We will find out in just a few moments' time. You are watching ETV Motorsports Entertainment's live coverage of the Maritime iRacing League. Don't go away. More racing action after this.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, and green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Oh, Miss Lucy dead and gone, left me here to weep and moan.
Double file lined up one more time here at New Symrna Speedway. Arbeau, Matthews on the front row. Brad Eddy, Jake Goodwin, Kevin Walker, Nathan Doherty. Your first 3 rows, Chris Garnett, Doug Hubhley, Kyle Gammon, Sean Pierce, all still getting ready to go back to green flag racing. 12 cars remain on the lead lap as time runs out. 127 laps left to go here at New Symrna, and the 61 machine. They get back on the hammer one more time, but they might lose a lead. In fact, it will be the 98 of Stephen Matthews immediately challenging on the outside.
He's been the only guy so far tonight to make the outside lane work for the number 1 spot. Can he do it again for a second time on Ricky Arbeau? He does. Stephen Matthews to the point at a 98, and caution gonna fly immediately after some cars slow on the front straightaway, back under yellow quickly. It is the O2 machine that gets spun after having some connection issues, gets turned by the 51. Nonetheless, though, we had a change for the lead. Steven Matthews, he's getting it done tonight.
Getting it done. He wants to win the second race as the 6 machine makes contact with the 02. That's going to send him spinning. The 51 finishes him off there. And now Chris Garnett, who was running top 10, is going to be relegated to position number 12. The tail end of the lead lap cars here at New Smyrna. Cautions breed cautions, but this is how do you put it? I don't know, more like the chicken who laid the golden egg, except that golden egg was full of yellow flags here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Sure, we'll go with that there, Joe.
That's all I got at this point. That's all I'm going to give you, Evan Pasoko. But Steven Matthews, though, you look at him, you look at how strong he's been here in New Smyrna. For someone who didn't get a full practice run here in tonight, he really looks like he has done everything he can to get that 98 in championship contention. And if you didn't know it, you'd say that Matthews is the car to beat.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we've seen the high side work. We saw guys like the 27 Carter Wilson try the outside. Jake Goodwin tried the outside. They couldn't get it done. Steven Matthews has gone 2 for 2 on the outside, making a pass for the lead around Ricky Arbeau. He's fast.
He is fast, and fast I think he's going to stay for the rest of the night as we're now down to less than 25 laps left in the feature. J.D. Webb are the big boss man, the executive producer here at ETV Motorsports Entertainment, joining us in the booth. Cowboy, always glad to have you here. And I see you got the saddle back on. You got the saddle back underneath you there, Chief.
Yeah, I'm just waiting here. Evan might have to bail out here, so we're getting the pony all ready to go here. But I just thought I might come up here and read you for a little bit while we go through all these yellow flags and stuff. What do you think about that? Would you like to hear a story?
You know what? I genuinely would right now. I could use a little break here and, have my little sip of warm milk and... Go ahead, Cowboy.
I was riding my horse down the trail when I spotted a man lying face down in the dirt. My horse and I stopped on the trail.
Man, this is going downhill.
Let me tell you something. I love this short track stuff. I really do. The first race was amazing. Tell these cowboys that practice is over and is trying to knuckle down here. I mean, come on, 105 laps into this thing. Let's get the show on the road, Cowboy. I want to see a race tonight here at New Smyrna.
20 laps left to go in the feature here at New Smyrna when they cross the start-finish line, and it will be decided between 11 drivers. And rumor among us, there's a rumor going around that Tim Terry might have dropped in the Honda motor from his little Civic to try to power that machine to get through the next 11 laps. The 98 machine, Steven Matthews, restarts the race for the next time tonight, and time is running out. 20 laps to go at this point. Matthews on pole, Arbeau right behind him.
Yeah, Steven Matthews took off and almost spun the pace car. Pace car didn't even get a chance to get down the pit lane. Steven Matthews took off. He knows that Ricky Arbeau wants to get up there. Jake Goodwin in 4th has been unable to complete his charge back to the front of the field after getting spun for the number 1 spot. These guys are going to duke it out, though. P1 and 2, 98 of Steven Matthews in the number 1 spot now inside of 20 laps to go. Ricky Arbeau a car length off his back bumper in 2nd, and Brad Eddy also the big sit in 3rd.
Matthews is looking dominant out there. Arbeau doing everything he can, but he doesn't need the win. He doesn't even need 2nd. He's just happy out there to be running at the top of the field. Eddie, Goodwin, Kevin Walker, your top 5, and it looks like these guys have settled them up, except for your front 2 positions. Arbeau doesn't need to win, but he wants to as they continue to run out there. Steven Matthews only leads by maybe a car length and some change out there, as Matthews trying to do everything he can to win the second half of the doubleheader.
Steven Matthews also wants to pick up 2nd in championship standings. Entered tonight only a handful of points behind Kevin Walker. Kevin Walker a couple spots behind him. Matthews already has one win on the season. He could get a shot at sneaking up, picking up an extra position, depending on how those guys finished in the last race. I know that Matthews did get turned and Kevin Walker did fairly well in the top 3, so it's a long shot, but he is going to go for it here, and laps continuing to wind down, this time by the start-finish line as we work down the back straightaway, actually, and Matthews actually pulling a gap on Ricky Arbeau, now to 0.3 of a second this time by the stripe. Going to be 15 laps to go.
15 laps to go as it looks like these guys are sorting them out, and everyone's going to get these cars in the right direction. And now late in the race, but nonetheless, they've finally got it figured out. And I think the first 100 laps or so were just practice, and now we see these guys start to come away and wake up in this race. Matthews, Arbeau, Brad Eddy, your top 3. Goodwin, 4th. Kyle Gammon, your top 5. Kevin Walker, Sean Pierce, Doug Hubhley, Chris Garnett, and Carter Wilson, your top 10. As Carter Wilson gets spun, the 27 machine gets sideways after the shot from the 34 of Mike Rhino. Rhino almost sent Carter Wilson around for the umpteenth time in tonight's race. Wilson able to rescue it, but now Wilson is on a mission. That's kind of to be a wake-up call for him, as he is just doing everything he can to now just keep it in 10th position and away from Mike Rhino.
Those guys contact not really up at the front of the field, but I don't know about that one. Looks like the 34 went in there with a little bit of a purpose to the 27, but nonetheless they both hang on to it. Stephen Matthews, he's hanging on to the number 1 spot with ease, continuing to inch away from Ricky Arbeau. That it is a second and a half, almost back to Brad Eddy between race leader and him. Eddy sitting in the 3rd spot. It is Stephen Matthews starting to check out for the first time. Joe, it's not the 61 pulling away 98, putting on a show here late in the going.
10 to go, 9 to go as they cross the start-finish line. Matthews, Arbeau, your top 2. Brad Eddy, 3rd. And Jake Goodwin, 4th. Kyle Gammon, your top 5. And Goodwin had a car that could have challenged tonight, but so far nobody's been as dominant as Stephen Matthews. Not even Ricky Arbeau, who had a fast car, but he just wasn't fast enough. The CBC racing driver, after a bad showing in the previous race at Oxford Plains, and now he's really showing his muscle and showing what he can do here with less than 10 laps to go. Those drivers pass the 0-3 of Ron McKay, as Ron McKay just turning laps right now. Looks like to keep the points up for what it's worth, to keep him in position number 13 out there tonight. Ron McKay is doing everything he can, having a rough night, but he still runs. Steve Matthews, still your leader. Arbeau now, 3 around. Now we got more trouble on the track. The 0-2's going around.
Yeah, we're here in the O2 machine is going to go around in turn 2, and we're going to slow him back down. The pace car is back out on the racetrack. That's Christopher Garnett once again this evening. Gets turned by the 33 machine. Again, just throws it in and really gets into the O2 machine. And not sure if those guys really had any sort of history before, but Doug Hubhley throwing it into the corner and maybe did what he wanted to do or made accidental contact. Who knows these days at the short track races, but nonetheless, back on their yellow. That's not what Stephen Matthews wanted to see. This could set up for a 2 or 1 lap shootout to the finish, and things could get pretty wild up front.
5 laps to go at this point, and I doubt we're going to end under yellow. I believe we should have at least a 1 lap dash for the cash to maybe 2 laps if everything goes correctly out there, but that's going to make this a very, very entertaining restart. It will be the restart for the race, effectively, as you see the number 6 machine of Nathan Doherty go around, collect one of his 3 laps back out there. Only 11 cars remain on the lead lap. They are Stephen Matthews up front, Ricky Arbeau in second, Brad Eddy, who had a top 3 finish last race. He could have a top 3 finish here tonight. Jake Goodwin in 4th, Kyle Gammon 5th, Kevin Walker 6th, Sean Pierce 7th, Doug Hubhley, Carter Wilson, Chris Grant, and Tim Terry, your top 11 machines. And these are the only 11 machines that remain on the lead lap. Stephen Matthews in dominant control, and as we get ready for this restart, it will be probably between 1 or 2 laps for the restart, Evan. I don't know that anybody can catch up. Anything has anyone to answer that 98 machine.
It's going to have to be a pass on the outside. Unless you want to wait a lap, try to get in behind the leader and give him a little bit of a bump, push him up above that racing surface up to the top lane and try to get by. Because the only guy that we've seen make that outside lane work is the guy sitting on the number 1 spot, Stephen Matthews. Now, keeping in mind that as we go down the back straightaway lap 123, lights are still on that Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. If they don't go off here, then we are done and the race is going to finish at 0. If they do come up, it's going to be a 1-lap shootout to the finish. No possibility of a yellow flag. Let's see what happens.
Lights should go off this time by, and it will be a 1-lap dash for the cash here at New Smyrna. Steve Matthews, Ricky Arbeau, they will have half a mile to decide who wins this race and who walks away with the second half of the doubleheader trophy. And Eddie, Jake Goodwin, Kyle Gammon, the top 5. Very, very stout field up front, and it's all about how they start and how in order to determine how they finish here in New Smyrna.
Here we go, jumping up lights off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. It's going to be a 1-lap dash pace car down the pit road. Stephen Matthews takes off. They're beating and banging for second on back. 61 of Arbeau gets moved high. Here comes Jake Goodwin charging to the front.
Goodwin looking for his first win. The 27's around. Let's follow the race for the win. The 98 machine of Matthews up front. It's going to be the 48 in second. Brad Eddy third. They cross the line. Race is over. Stephen Matthews comes back from the first half of the doubleheader to win at New Smyrna. Jake Goodwin second. Brad Eddy, your top 3. Lots of tearing up, lots of wrecks going on that lead lap involving the 27 machine. The 03 machine of Ron McKay got a piece of all that action. And now that it's all said and done, we can all rest easy. The race is over and Steve Matthews in charge of the win. When we come back, we'll talk to your top 3 finishers and go over what's been a very wild evening here at the racetracks, plural. Stay tuned, race fans. Talk to Steve Matthews, Jake Goodwin, and Brad Eddy next on the post-race show on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. Stephen Matthews winning a very long, very tiring race here at New Smyrna Speedway. Jake Goodwin second, Brad Eddy third, Kevin Walker fourth, Sean Pierce your top 5. Kyle Gammon, Ricky Arbeau, Doug Hubhley, Tim Terry, Christopher Garnett, your top 10. Carter Wilson finishing 11th. Only 11 cars staying on the lead lap after 125 very long laps here at New Smyrna Speedway. Nathan Doherty, 12th. Ronnie McKay, 13th. Mike Rhino, 14th. Craig Weigel in for George White, 15th. Todd Cousins, 16th. Stephen Arsenault, 17th. Travis Roma, Martin Landry, Kyle Bordeaux, Carson Alb, Scott Brad Negus and Luke Casey, your top 23. The one who wins it, though, is a driver, the number 98 machine, Steven Matthews, finds a way to stay at the front, then come from the back, then come all the way back to the front to win at New Symrna. Climbing out of the car, Steve Matthews, the winner of the second half of the doubleheader. And Steve, that was, dare I say it, Herculean.
Oh, Joe, that car was unbelievable. It was on a rail and got caught up early, like you said. Got spun there and persevered and come through the back and just picked them off. I knew I had a good piece, just had to stay out of trouble. And I managed to do that and come away with the win. I'm happy. This is awesome.
Huge win for you, especially after the trouble you had in the first half of this doubleheader tonight. How hard was it coming from the back of the field to get up front and ultimately challenge with the unofficial champion Ricky Arbeau for the win?
Well, like I say, I knew I had a good piece, and Ricky's a good driver, hell of a driver, and the outside line, I really wanted the outside there, and on that restart, I got a good start. Was even with them with the green and managed to pull ahead of them on that on the restart. And I don't know, man. It's just this car was unbelievable. It was on a rocket. We put a lot of time in here. All the boys at CBC, just I can't thank them enough, and Jake Goodwin and the whole crew. And this is wicked.
Second win for the season comes tonight. It won't pole vault you to second in standings, but you'll have one more race to do that. You'll have it next week at Lanier for the 200 lap feature. You ready to go racing one more time?
Oh, I'm ready, Joe. I got to try to get Kevin there for second.
I'm sure you do. CBC Racing on the hood. Who else makes it work for you, buddy?
Well, I got to really thank Marvin Wooten there for gearing up this paint scheme on the Super Late model. My old painter moved away, so got to thank him, and I just got to thank all the boys at CBC for putting in a lot of time with the setup help. It really pays off. 1, 2, 3.
Steven Matthews looking for a big win, gets it here at New Symrna, and now going to be going into Lanier with a little bit more motivation, a little bit more mission after his second win of the season. Steve, good run tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot, Joe, and thank you guys for all the wonderful work you guys do.
Steven Matthews finishing first here in the number 98 machine at New Symrna Speedway. Jake Goodwin declining the interview tonight, pulled the car behind the wall and said he was done. See you next time. So we're going to go straight to Brad Eddy. 2 for 2 in the doubleheader, Brad.
Yeah, that was pretty good there. I'm just impressed with the move that Jake did there at the end. That was insane.
That was definitely a crazy move. Ended up working to his favor, but more importantly, you're able to find something special in the 72 machine. How were you able to do it? How were you able to make that work for you and ultimately find your way in second place after what has been a very long and contentious race?
Steve gave me a really good setup for the start there, and I never really had a chance to use it there because my frames messed up at the start, and I got taken out from behind, went 3 laps down early, and just kept getting the lucky dog and avoiding those wrecks, and I got lucky with a lot of cautions, and car seemed to handle the damage pretty well, so yeah, it was a little bit tight, but I could stay relatively within range of the front runners, and it just turned out really nicely with the cautions.
Next week, 200 laps at Lanier before the All-Star Challenge. Now, you're locked into the All-Star race, so you don't need to win at Lanier to make it to the All-Star show, but you know you're going to try.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's my favorite track, so we'll see what we can do there. It's a really fun place, and I have a good setup figured out for that place, so we'll see how it goes, and 200 laps is just a perfect length race, in my opinion, so see if we can qualify up front and stay up there.
Brad, 2 consecutive podium finishes tonight. I know there's a lot of people who made that all come together for you.
Yeah, mostly just CBC racing. I mean, we did a lot of setup sharing at Oxford, and we shared a lot of setups and setup knowledge here at New Symrna, and that's what ultimately did it for us tonight. So just want to thank those guys, and again, Danish Collision and Samuel Metals and Custom Colors there. It was just a good race all around, and it was probably a little drawn out, but it must have been fun to watch it sometimes.
Definitely fun to watch at times. Brad Eddy, 2 for 2 in the doubleheader. Podium finishes for him. Congratulations, Brad. Good finish tonight. We'll see you in 1 week's time.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
That is Brad Eddy finishing third for the second time in the two doubleheader races here at New Smyrna. Before that, at Oxford Plains Speedway. Jake Goodwin comes and finds his way out of the garage and over to us. Jake, we thought you left. We're glad you came back. Not the win you've been looking for all season, but second place isn't bad.
After the race we had in the first one and the race how it was going tonight, I'll take second. I'm pretty pleased with that.
You mentioned it right there. Just two very contentious races, two very hard-fought races, to stay at the very least. I know you guys fought really hard for the race tonight and for everything that came down. How hard was it here at New Smyrna to make it all work?
I missed the gear a little bit. I was hitting the chip a bit early, but to get that 1-2-3 finish, nothing really mattered after that. I knew I didn't have nothing for Steve, but I owed Ricky a little bump anyway, so I figured now it's best time to give it to him.
CBC Racing definitely showing its muscle and flexing it here at New Smyrna Speedway. The team's just got to be just on cloud 9 right now. You guys have got to be elated after this big finish.
Yeah, about halfway through the race, I would have never expected us to be 1-2-3, that's for sure.
I know you're still looking for your elusive win this season, and you've got one more chance to do it. Will we see the 48 in victory lane at Lanier?
I sure hope so. I'm going to practice hard and do my best, that's for sure.
Jake, before I let you go, anyone you want to thank? Who's on the hood? Who makes it work for you?
I'd like to thank Pat Healy for giving me a chance to run the Racing for Chelsea scheme, and CBC Racing and Double Clutch and all the sponsors and broadcast team that make it happen.
Jake Goodwin finishing second tonight here at New Smyrna Speedway. Good run, buddy. We'll see you in 1 week's time at Lanier.
Thanks, Steve.
Jake Goodwin finishing second. Before we go, let's talk to our perennial reporter, our favorite reporter, our favorite in-car reporter, the guy who makes it all work here in the Maritime iRacing League, Tim Terry. Tim Terry, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I told JD Webb about halfway through the Oxford race that he better put my order in for a brand new 5-star body because I think we're going to need one after New Smyrna, and I didn't think it was going to be that rough, but it is what it is. Me and Ronnie McKay got into it about halfway through the race or something. I'm not sure what happened. I'll have to go back and look at the replay, but it was a little broke before that. After I hit the wall after the 03 got into me or vice versa, I'm still not completely sure. It felt like he went on the inside of me, but I could be wrong. Anyways, it was broke after that. Felt like I had a Honda Civic motor in it for the last, 40 laps of the race, but came home in whatever we finished. I apologized to Carter last lap, thought I had the line, got a little loose, and then Mike Rhino apparently lost all brain function going into corner number 3. So JD Laird is going to be meeting with the admin review panel in the morning, and I'm pretty sure that after 13 cautions, there might be a couple of drivers sitting out. And I told JD Webb and John Wessling, if we have 5 cars that show up next week, that's great. But it was a rough and tumble affair. Thanks for Double Clutch for sticking with us, series sponsor, and all the drivers that have been sticking with us all season long. We got one more to go, then the All-Star race, and then we'll call it a season. But congratulations to Steve. Congratulations to Brad as well. He was peeled up on the front straightaway wall on lap 1. Great to see him come back for third. So we'll go back. I need to thank my sponsors as well, I guess, because we need to put a new body on the car. Swan Racing, TCM. I got Me and Racing on here, and we got Shotgun Racing on here as well. So we'll look forward to next week. Finale, Lanier, 200 laps under the lights. And we'll close off this season, Joe. It was a pretty incredible ride, I guess, tonight. First time we've ever had a doubleheader.
Tim, after tonight's race, I think I can easily say the best is yet to come. 200 laps at Lanier next week, followed by the All-Star Challenge. The best is definitely yet to come after this, right?
Yeah, the All-Star Challenge is going to happen at South Boston. That's always a great track, always gives us some great racing. I thought Oxford tonight was a pretty good race as well. Our league always tends to put together some great racing at Oxford. And it seems like Oxford's one of the trickiest racetracks on this sim, when it comes to short tracks at least. And once again, our guys did an absolutely awesome job at Oxford, so hats off to them. 200 laps at Lanier. We've had good races at Lanier. We've had bad races at Lanier. Everybody gives each other some room and a little bit of respect. We'll be fine. But we'll move on to next week, and we'll see what happens.
Tim Terry, always a pleasure. We will see you in 1 week's time at Lanier.
Sounds good, Joe. See you then.
And that'll do it for us here on ETV Motorsports Entertainment. The Maritime iRacing League doubleheader has completed. We are at an end, and our night is pretty much at the same point. Ricky Arbeau gets the first win, solidifies his championship here in the Maritime iRacing League. Stephen Matthews up the win in the second race at New Symrna, trying to get in position number 2. Be sure to join us next week when we take the Maritime iRacing League to Lanier Speedway for 200 laps to end the 2014 Spring Super Series. Until then, on behalf of our entire team, John Westling, our producer and camera operator, making everything work, our executive producer, J.D. Webb, my partner in crime, Evan Pasocco, I am Joe Cortez. We will see you in 1 week's time when we say adieu to the Maritime iRacing League at Lanier National Speedway. Until then, good night, everybody.